Hey, I'm back. It's been more than a month, but I went to MegaCon yesterday. It was my 16th year. Started taking my daughter the following year. She immediately started going in cosplay, has gone to a bunch of conventions on her own in cosplay. And in 2015, I went in cosplay myself. I went as Tony Stark. And then 6 months later, I went as Logan. Well, now that it's been 11 years since then, I went in cosplay again. And I brought my daughter, but she didn't go in cosplay. I told her if I've ever found somebody to make the shirt that Mark from Battle of the Planets or Ken the Eagle from Gatchaman, same character, right, wore in his civilian garb, I would buy it and I would go to a convention in that costume. And I found it on Etsy 6 months ago, bought it, and so I went. Now, the day started early for me at 1:30 a.m. I got called in to work at the hospital, did not leave until 4 a.m. On my way home, I got pulled over for speeding, but I was still wearing my hospital clothes, my badge and everything. And he said, why are you in such a hurry? And I said, I just got called into the hospital. Well, what do you do? Nuclear medicine. Well, I know you're doing important work. I'll let you go. So I got out of that ticket. That's never happened before. And I was actually on my way home, but I didn't speed after that. I got lucky. Okay. So I got home, got ready, and then headed out again. 3-hour drive to Orlando. Met my daughter at the Deezerland parking lot. Last time her and I were there was when I was sword training with Adrian Paul, the Highlander. And then we did the James Bond Museum and the car museum and all that. So now we were at the parking lot to get on the shuttle bus to go to MegaCon. Got there an hour early because I did not want to miss the Jim Lee experience that I prepaid 9 weeks ago when it sold out 9 weeks ago. And it was starting at 10:30 and it was going to be on level 3. And so we got there, got to the convention. I beelined straight to his place. I got there 30 minutes before they opened and I was like the 1,000th in line. So suffice it to say, it took 4 hours in line till I got to meet Jim Lee. But here we are together. And then I could get 3 comics signed by him. That was part of the experience. So I got Uncanny X-Men issue 267. This was the first issue that he started working on as penciler. He was famous for, he would become famous for his X-Men work. And his inker was Will Sportatio, who also started on this issue. So I got that signed by him as well. And the writer was Chris Claremont. Now, a lot of people will get the previous issue signed. They won't get this one signed because the previous one is the first appearance of Gambit. I didn't get that. I got this one because I got it because the art jumped off the shelf at me, and so that's why it's important to me. That's why I wanted to get it signed, and I did. Then he became so popular from the X-Men comics, they gave him his own X-Men title, and here it is, issue number 1, which I also got signed. Now, there were 5 covers for this. The first 4 each had a different cover, but they all pieced together to make one big illustration, and then the 5th one was all 4 put together. That's the one I have here. Let me open it and show you. There we go. We're getting the whole thing in here. So that's what I got signed. Then, of course, all of those guys at Marvel that became all of those artists that became so popular that they got their own titles, like Todd McFarlane with his own Spider-Man title, Rob Liefeld getting X-Force from New Mutants and all that. They then went on to form Image Comics and they got their own creator-owned titles, and Jim Lee's was Wildcat. So I got issue 1 signed. I got all of these as they came out back in the day, because I'm an oldster. Well, now, when I was done with Jim Lee, I was almost 30 minutes late for the one photo op I booked, Mr. T, and he was 3 levels down, and I had to somehow get to him now that it was already too late. I started running anyways. As I'm going down the stairs on an escalator coming up, someone yells, "Battle of the Planets, Gatchaman!" So now we're over 4 hours into the day, the very first person to recognize who I actually am, and I have to just keep running, very sad. And then I'm going down another hallway and I'm in all the cosplayers and all the photographers, and I hear, hey, Battle of the Planets, Gatchaman. And it was a photographer wanted to take his picture of me. I grew up on that show. I stopped, I posed for the photo, but I was panic stricken. I'm like, how am I? Anyways, I went down, I got to a dead end. They said, you got to go back out the way you came, all the way, go back up another floor. I did that. I got out onto the correct floor, and then I could see the photo op Triceratops were like 8 miles away through 500,000 people packed so tight you couldn't breathe. And I had to somehow get there. And I did. And I finally got to the line where Mr. T's photo guys were, and the line was empty. And I just sprinted up to the curtain, and a girl poked her head out and she goes, "Mr. T?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "You're not too late." And I jump in. I'm the only one there. Mr. T's about to leave. Photographer's about to pack it up. And I'm the last one. I got it by seconds. And here we are, me and Mr. T. So now I could relax. I could go, and my daughter and I and her friend Seth, who was with us at MegaCon last year, could all hang out and enjoy ourselves. And the first person I wanted to go see after that was Katsuji Mori, who just by a total coincidence was making his convention debut here in America from Japan. 80-year-old man, the original voice actor of Ken the Eagle from Gatchaman, the guy I was cosplaying. Total coincidence that we're both there at the same time. And he's there, so I had to go meet him. And yes, he recognized who I was. The lady translator recognized she was wearing a Gatchaman backpack. They said I'm the only person in Gatchaman cosplay. In fact, he barely had any Gatchaman stuff there. He was also the voice of Speed Racer, the Japanese voice, the original, you know? He had no Speed Racer stuff. He had it for all these modern kids. I guess the stuff I like is just too old. That's why nobody knew who I was. But they knew. And here's our photo together. Here we go. The voice of Ken and the embodiment of Ken in live action. And I got him to sign this Funko Pop of Ken the Eagle. G-Force Transmute. Very cool, right? And I got him to sign this copy of the Gatchaman comic. I didn't bring this with me. He had it. I bought it from him. This is issue 1. It's an alternate cover that just features Ken, which is who we are. I have another cover of this because I have every issue, but this was pertinent for the occasion. And then I had to go get 3D scanned, like my previous cosplays. That was a company called 0.3D. There's a new company there. It's called Shrunk 3D. And I went in and I got scanned. Here I am getting scanned for my new statue. The new statue is going to be 7 inches tall, so it's twice the size of these because the technology's better. It's going to be better quality, so I can get it bigger, and it'll arrive in 4 weeks, which will be right in the middle of when Tabitha and I are in England, so it'll be a nice surprise to come back home to, and I'll show you when it arrives, but can't wait for it because I got a whole Gatchaman shelf that I'm setting up. Okay, then it was off to go see my favorite artist working in comics today, Mr. Dan Panosian, penciler, inker, colorist. He does the covers to Conan the Barbarian, Savage Red Sonja. I have a lot of his work. I actually have a signed comic by him. It is an alternate cover to the Frank Frazetta Fire and Ice Tigra issue 1, or one shot I should say. So I brought this Conan issue 1, which I already got signed by the writer Jim Zub, and then I realized this is cover B, which Dan Panosian didn't draw. He drew cover A. So stupid on my part, but he is the cover artist for Conan, and it's the one I had, and it's the one I had signed, but I feel like an idiot. But at least I got a picture with him, so here we are together. I love the picture of us together. This is awesome. Oh, and then I had to complete a collection of mine. Okay, so I have met everybody in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the full cast, the good guys, the bad guys, the side characters, the stunt people, everything from seasons 1 and 2, and then the movie, except for one person, Johnny Young Bosch, and he was here at the convention, so gotta catch them all. Went and got my photo with him. Here we are, and then here is my signed Power Rangers print. Now I wanted to get a picture with some cosplayers. Walking out the door, leaving, was the Lone Ranger. I ran to catch him. I'm like, oh my God, it's the Lone Ranger. I got to get a picture with you. So cool. Here we are. Picture with the Lone Ranger. I was so excited. He then said, wait a minute, partner. And he gave me a silver bullet. He said, I don't give these out, but the Lone Ranger gave me a silver bullet. Oh, that's so cool. And then because I love Boba Fett, I had to go get pictures with Boba Fett, both young and old. Here we are together. Then here's Tabitha and I arriving through time and space in the TARDIS. Then I picked up a 3D print of a Stegosaurus skeleton, my favorite dinosaur, and I got a smaller one of the Triceratops for Tabitha, her favorite dinosaur. And I got a 3D print of Cthulhu to add to my Cthulhu collection that I keep buying pieces for at all the conventions. Just the other day, we got news that the great Chuck Norris died 3 days ago. I have a signed photo of Chuck Norris right at my front door in my living room of him battling Bruce Lee in the Coliseum in Rome. It was his only time doing a signing, and I was like, well, I got to get something signed by him. Then announced that he's coming to town, and it was on my wedding day, so I couldn't go meet him. For the last 2 years, I've been wanting him to come back. Please come back. I want to meet you. And now he has passed away. He's gone. I don't get to meet him. And then this morning, news comes out that a week ago, Sam Keith, my second favorite comic book artist of all time, obsessed with this man's art, creator of the Max. He did all the Wolverine and Marvel Comics Presents, did Lobo covers and stuff like that. He passed away last week at the age of 63. It's crazy. But in brighter news, today is William Shatner's 95th birthday, and he's there at MegaCon celebrating it with fans. Awesome! And today is the 50th anniversary of the very first day of filming of Star Wars there in Tunisia. I was actually going to be there on a special trip in Tunisia at the filming locations. They're leaving next week. I missed the booking of that trip, but it's okay because I'm going to go next year on the 50th anniversary of the release of the film, and when I actually saw the movie in the theater, and the price of the tour will be half of what it is for this year. So I'll make that trip. I tried to make it, 15 years ago? And it kind of fell through, but I'm going to make it next year. Anyways, I had a great time at MegaCon. Were you there? Did you see me? I loved it. I wish I was there for all 3 days because there was so much I could do, but I just kind of got in, got out, and I got home, and I didn't spend $700 of what I budgeted to spend there. And I'm kind of happy about that. That's a first for me. So I'll hopefully be making another video very soon. I got some more planned, and I'll see you next time.